Some believe that the first mutant was born thousands of years ago. He was some kind of god, and he's going to rise again.
You are all my children, and you're lost because you follow blind leaders. No more false gods. I'm here now.
Hey guys, welcome back to Critic and Fan, and we just watched the movie X-Men Apocalypse, starring, we got Oscar Isaac, we got Michael Fassbender, we got James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, just a humongous cast of people in this movie. And this movie basically is the story about Apocalypse, who is known to be, well, allegedly known to be the first mutant ever created or born. And this is thousands of years ago in Egypt, where you find out in the beginning of the movie this is where it came from. And so the movie starts off with that, where Apocalypse, where he came from, but then he gets frozen in time, not frozen in time, but he's put under a deep sleep for all these years. And then finally, in the modern age, he's awoken and wants to basically purge the earth of mankind. And so now that he's back, the X-Men...
He has 13 hours while the purge is going on.
Oh my god! And so now that he's back, the X-Men, of course, they have to stop him because he's going to destroy the world.
Yeah, that's the basic plot of it.
That's basically it.
I know the critics are sort of panning it. I think it's like below 50% right now, which doesn't make sense to me. I think it's still a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, I think it's pretty okay too. I think what's disappointing for some people or critics, and I think maybe some fans, is that it does take a while to get going. I think because the first 3 or 4 minutes is Apocalypse's origin story, which is pretty cool to see. After that, it's like another hour of just him recruiting the 4 horsemen that to join his team, and another bits and pieces of the X-Men and what they've been up to ever since the events of Days of Future Past, and more story on Magneto. And so the only action scene you really get is the beginning, the first 5 minutes, and afterwards...
A really good one, though. It's really good.
Yeah, really good one, yeah. And then just another hour of just nothing. It's really all just dialogue, really. And it's all build up. It's a slow burn for the finale, which I kind of feel that it paid off for the most part, but at the same time, I think the problem for most people is that it takes a while to get going.
Yeah. I did hear a complaint that it felt like bloated with characters, but if you ever read an X-Men comic or see any of the cartoon stuff, there's always a ton of X-Men. I don't think it's too bloated. That's just something people who don't know what X-Men is say.
All right, let's first, really fast, I just want to address Oscar Isaac. What did you feel about Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse? Did you feel he was menacing? What did you think about him?
I don't know. I feel like he kind of rambled on a lot.
He would monologue a lot. I felt that he was what I wanted from Ultron in Avengers: Age of Ultron, because with Ultron and the trailers, they made him look very dark and menacing. And then when you watched the movie, you found out he was actually not like that at all.
He was really comical.
He was very comical, yeah. So I was really hoping that with Apocalypse, he would be that sinister villain, and he actually was, because he would actually do things like he would make people evaporate into thin air. He's that powerful, and he can not only do that, he can manipulate technology. Like he could literally, be in control of the lights in your room. He can take control of the internet if he wanted to. He has all these powers because he's amassed all these powers from all these years ago. And how can the X-Men stop him? And this movie, I thought that they did a good job of making sure most of the X-Men had their moments. And because there's a bunch of characters, how do you write, kind of like Captain America Civil War? You got all these characters. Yeah. How can you give everybody the spotlight?
Yeah, they did really good with Cyclops this time around.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked also the new Jean Grey. I liked her as well. Really I liked Ice Beast, of course. But one thing we had a problem with as well, besides the pacing, was the 4 Horsemen. What were your thoughts on the 4 Horsemen?
They took all this time to get these strong mutants, right? And then their first fight, they lose, and that's it. And then they're done.
Yeah, the thing about
they didn't do anything.
Yeah, the understanding of the Horsemen is that they're basically like the disciples of Apocalypse. And before Apocalypse really goes anywhere, he kind of sends the 4 Horsemen to do his bidding. And they're supposed to be these guys who just lay waste to everything before Apocalypse arrives. And you get the sense that they're supposed to be powerful beings. And when he recruits Storm, he recruits
Psylocke.
Angel. Who's this? Psylocke, and he also recruits Magneto. And with the exception of Magneto, the other 3 characters, they seem completely useless against the X-Men.
Like the first 4 horsemen that you see in the very beginning of the movie, the opening scenes, they do more damage in like moments than the rest of the Horsemen do for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, because before Apocalypse gets, before it goes into a deep sleep, you do see the original Horsemen that he had. And those guys, I thought would have been way more effective.
Oh, they were damaging. They tore up.
Because the original Horsemen, they were shooting fire, super strength, and they're just doing a whole bunch of crazy things. And of course, the Four Horsemen in the modern age, Storm and all of them, they all have great powers, but they just didn't feel. I didn't feel like the X-Men were in trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of the times during the finale, and like you said, they're only in for one action scene because, like I said before, the entire movie is just all a big build up for the finale. And so the Four Horsemen and Apocalypse, they don't fight or do anything the entire time until the end. And they're trying to make this a big build-up, and like I said, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't hit, because the matchup that you're trying to see or waiting for of the Horsemen and Apocalypse and the X-Men, with the exception of Magneto and the Apocalypse, the other three are just scrubs, really. And so that was one thing I didn't like about the Horsemen. I thought they were executed very well. Also, one thing we didn't like was Jennifer Lawrence. I liked her performance. I thought she did great. I just didn't like that we would just see Jennifer Lawrence's face for the entire movie, practically.
Yeah, it's like give Mystique a chance. Like let her show her blue skin. Like it may no. I don't want to get into it because it got on my nerves.
Well, I'll get into it for you really fast. It's just Mystique is just dealing with. She wants to, I guess, blend in, or she doesn't feel like she is good enough, really, and she resorts to just being in a human form for the entire time.
No, it was just the studio trying to cash in on Jennifer Lawrence being Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
that's all it was. There wasn't no Mystique trying to do this. No, she's supposed to be like mutant and proud.
Yeah, well, that's what she's supposed to be.
And they throw it out the window.
She's supposed to be mutant and proud and just be blue all the time because that's what she always was in the past movies. So they're trying to give her that story arc of just her trying to be humanized in this movie, but it's like no, you just sense it. You're just like no, I know, I'm already here to watch the movie, and I know that Jennifer Lawrence is in it. I know what Jennifer Lawrence looks like already. Just give me the blue version of her right now. Like, it's totally fine. But the studio just it got kind of annoying after a while because if you're in good company, and if I'm hanging out with you. Like, why wouldn't I be comfortable being myself in front of you, right? But Jennifer Lawrence's character, Mystique, when she's with all the X-Men and people that she trusts and stuff like that, she never resorts back to her blue stuff. She's always just Jennifer Lawrence. And that was kind of annoying, especially when you know who the character's supposed to be.
Yeah, and she still says crap like, be proud of being a mutant and,
yeah.
mutant power. She's so pro-mutant, but
It's kind of hypocritical a bit.
It's
yeah. And so besides her, those are the main gripes that have this movie that... Like I said before, might divide some people, right? That might explain the 50% on Tomatoes. But besides that, the action scenes are pretty great. They're very nice to look at. Quicksilver, once again, has a great running scene.
He was the man.
Yeah, he has a great scene. If you guys remember Days of Future Past, and that scene that he had in there, I think this new one tops that one.
Yeah.
And so his scene was great.
Havoc, I thought was really good in this too.
Yeah, Havoc was pretty sweet as well.
Cyclops, he was good. Jubilee's in it for a little bit, which is fine.
But she doesn't do anything. Though.
No, it's cool because she's just Jubilee. I'm just glad she was in it.
You don't want to see sparkles come out of her hands. And...
I'm just a fan of her because she was in the '90s cartoon. I'm glad she was in it just for as much as she was. They did really great with Nightcrawler. He was really, really good in it.
I liked him. Yeah.
They did really good with a lot of these characters.
Yeah, it's just the villains that they don't really care for, and besides that. There's a cameo in this movie that is spoiled in the trailer. So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, do not watch it.
Just see the movie.
If you don't know who is making a cameo in this movie, because if you see that, it's an awesome cameo.
It's awesome how they did it. They did a lot of great things with a lot of the good guy side. They did really good with.
Yeah. So overall, I think this movie is. My mother calling. Mom, I'm doing a review. Okay. Yeah, so, but good thing I got most of the review done already. So yeah, that's our quick thoughts on this movie. What do you guys think about Apocalypse? And
go see it.
Go see it, guys. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, and as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel for more reviews.
Leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about it.
Apocalypse. All right, guys. See ya.